Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Raven's Readings. Here are two more of my own stories. I'll be doing these on Fridays and some of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland on Tuesdays. I do like writing to a variety of challenges and have done over 100 of these stories so far. You can read them via my website at ravensview.ca. Today's are still from 2012. The first was from a prompt that gave us a list of 8 words and an aphorism by Sigmund Freud. A man who has been the indisputable favorite of his mother keeps for life the feeling of a conqueror. Momma's boy. The devil sipped on his coffee. Delicious. He did like a good roast. He sat quietly in the cafe booth, gazing out the window, waiting for the catch of the day to walk in. It was a quiet morning in here, with just a few locals perched on stools at the counter. The waitress slumped at a corner table, idly flipping through a magazine, cigarette burning down to a filter in her ashtray. He checked his list. She wasn't on it. He settled back in his seat and tapped his foot to the music. He triggered the jukebox as he walked in, making it play a series of slow Leonard Cohen songs faintly in the background. They fit his mood today. His playlist held more than were actually in the jukebox, but no one seemed to notice. The bell over the door tinkled, and a large man walked in, jacket buttoned tight over his stomach, face flushed, a big smile pasted on his face. The devil watched as the newcomer strutted and preened, full of confidence, greeting the few patrons by name, slapping them on the back. The waitress looked up and transformed, eyes wide, beaming smile, arms wide as she rushed towards him. "How's my favorite little boy?" she cried. The man pushed her away a bit. "Mom, I'm the mayor now, not your little boy anymore." "Nonsense," she said. "You'll always be my boy, even as a famous and popular mayor." He dropped his voice. "Oh, thanks, Mom. I appreciate you always being here for me. I wish I had the same support from the press. They love to twist every little thing I do into the worst light possible, starting from the first days of my campaign. They even pick on my weight." "Now, Robbie," she said, "they're just playing up to their readers. They know that people are upset over all the cuts you had to make, so we'll support whatever they print against you. They don't understand you like I do." "It's a tough job," he said, "and it wasn't easy to get here." Over the years, he'd had to burn a lot of bridges, do a lot of backroom deals, bend a lot of rules, upset a lot of people, but it was worth it. He was finally here. "And you do such a good job," she said. "Yeah, thanks, Mom," said the mayor. He looked around and then pointed. "Who's that guy in the booth? New in town?" "He said he was here to collect someone," she said. "He must have meant collect something, like one of those repo guys I see on TV." The devil had been eavesdropping from across the room, an easy trick for him. He rose as the mayor approached. "Mr. Mayor," he said, "I've been waiting specifically for you. Do sit down." "Really? For me?" said the mayor. "The waitress said you were here to collect something. If you're here for my limo, well, this time it's the town's and paid for." "No, Robbie, I'm here to collect you," said the devil. "Time to pay up for all those rules you bent, all those people you stepped on." The mayor started to get even more red in the face. "Now, look here, Mr. Mr. D will do," said the devil with a little smile. "Go on." "Look here, Mr. D. If you're another goon from Washington, you can just turn around and get out. The press has been spreading nothing but lies. Your people have been through my office files, business records, personal finances, my wife's business, my brother's. You couldn't prove anything." The devil smiled, and the room seemed to get a little darker. "No, they couldn't prove anything, but you and I know that you've been a bad boy." The mayor sat back and waved a hand. "Pfft, just talk. You don't know squat about me." "You'd be surprised at what I know," said the devil. "You chose this path years ago. Let's start with the puppy your sister had, the one you convinced her had just run away. But we know it was more than that." "Oh, it was an accident. I didn't mean it," said the mayor. He sat forward again. "Wait, how did you know about that?" "Relax," said the devil. "There's more. A lot more. I'll just give you the highlights for now." He went through a dozen incidents, and as he did so, the mayor sank lower and lower in his chair. When the devil finally stopped, he smiled at the mayor. "So, you see, with that record, it's time for me to collect you. You're not from the Justice Department in Washington, are you?" said the mayor. "No," said the devil, "another Justice Department. Similar, but different. We tend to win all our cases." He casually stirred his cold coffee with his finger until it bubbled and steamed, and then took another sip. "She makes excellent coffee. Maybe I can offer her a job." "You leave my Momma out of this," said the mayor, grabbing the devil by the sleeve. She had seen the ruckus and hurried over. "Everything all right here, Robbie? Want me to call the sheriff?" "No, Mum, it's okay," said the mayor. "You were right the first time that this man is here for someone, not something. He's here for me." "Oh, but you can't take my boy from me," she said. "He's all I've got. He's not that bad a boy, really. Don't take him. I couldn't live without him here. My life would be worthless. Oh, please, I'll do anything." The devil smiled. "Anything?" "Mom," said the mayor, "be careful what you say. You don't know who this is." "Why don't I give her some hints?" said the devil. "One, I'm pleased to say your son has been a very bad boy for most of the last 40 years, starting with the accident with his sister's puppy. And two," he smiled, and slowly his teeth sharpened into fangs, and his skin reddened, and 2 horns appeared on his forehead. She took a step back and then nodded. "I guess I sort of knew this was coming," she said. "Take me instead." "It doesn't work like that," said the mayor. "Or does it?" "Well, contrary to what people say," said the devil, "I can be a pretty reasonable fiend from hell. Your mother here is not on my list, so she would have some value to me. You'll be mine eventually, but I could delay things." "Would you really do that for me, Mom?" asked the mayor. She smiled and held out her arms. "Yes, I would, for my favorite little boy." The mayor jumped up and gave her a quick hug. "Mum, you're the best." He turned to the devil, held out his hand. "Mr. D, nice doing business with you. Hope it's a long time before we meet again." The end. I like Devil's stories. He can be quite human in many ways. The second story is part of a series I did on Grimm's fairy tale characters that are reborn into the modern world with some magical powers. The series eventually led to a novel, and still in edit mode. This prompt was to write a story where the monster is the protagonist. Maligned, misunderstood, quirky, or funny, and also to use the famous Ray Bradbury title, "Something Wicked This Way Comes," as a line in your story. Something wicked this way comes. "Do I have to keep running?" said the wolf. "Do you want to get back in shape or not?" said the woodcutter. Yes, I do. Well, early retirement was really depressing. I couldn't have lasted much longer. I'm glad the Grimms need us back for more variations on the stories." They'd been jogging along the beach for an hour now, and he felt like he was going to die. "I thought we were done work for good," said the woodcutter. "Why do they want us back now?" "Our stuff is finally back in," said the wolf, "along with vampires and ghosts. Seems the more technology people have, the more they need to balance it with the supernatural, with make-believe. That was enough to bring us back into existence." "Well, I'm glad they called us back for some jobs, too," said the woodcutter, "and unlike some, I'm always believed in keeping in shape. Regular exercise, early to bed, healthy eating. None of that late-night carousing that you and Red and her karaoke gang get up to. I'll be ready next week when we start. Well, I'm ready now. You, little buddy? I'm not sure. Overweight, out of breath, patchy fur. You keep complaining about sore teeth." He slapped the wolf on the shoulder. "Maybe you should get some of them pulled." The wolf winced and rubbed his shoulder. "Take it easy," he said. "There has been a bit of wear and tear, I admit, but we've been around a few hundred years, ever since the stories brought us to life. Well, except for that break of a few decades. But my body will recover. The magic helps." "But why do they need us again?" said the woodcutter. "They still have the stories." "The stories have faded after years of indifference," said the wolf, "and we're needed to rebuild them. We add power to the stories. We give back into them. We project through them, add to the emotions the reader feels, and that in turn keeps us alive. It'll be good for us, give us something to do in our retirement, and I may add to that magic, it'll give us even more power." "You could use a boost," said the woodcutter. "At this rate, all you're going to add to a story for some little kid is the feeling that he needs to collapse and wheeze, and maybe that he has gas." "Shut up, you big goof," said the wolf. "I admit I am a little out of shape, but I'll be fine. Now, please, let's stop for a bit up here, next to the witch." "Hi, hon," he said, "enjoying watching me suffer?" "It is somewhat amusing," said the witch, "given how deliciously wicked you used to be and how much you enjoyed sliding into your decadent life in retirement. Did you try that conditioner I gave you? It should untangle that fur of yours and make it look thicker. It's a volumizing formula, and that salve should help those tender spots on your paws." "Thanks, I will tonight," said the wolf. "I've my first gig. It's hard to scare a kid when you limp through a story. You guys have it easier. My role is both physical skills and acting. I have to emote more, to project pure wickedness." "Well, you're part of the team," said the witch, "but you need to be ready when we are. There's 10 of us called up so far, and we all have difficult roles, and we can't afford to carry you." "Don't worry," said the wolf. "I am committed to this. I've even joined up with a support group of other wolves and some bears, and we challenge each other every week, and I'll be ready." And he was. The first run-through they did 4 of the stories, and they could feel the creativity sparking between them, their lines crisp, improvising off each other to build yet another variation. It was even better than the old days. As they became the stories, they could all sense the magic as the emotions flowed into the readers. They felt the stories coming to life for the little children, ensuring the memories would stay fresh and real, to be remembered and relived once they were safely tucked into bed and for days to come. They could feel the flow, filling the children with hope, love, happiness, sadness, fear, and, of course, horror. The wolf could almost feel the wickedness dripping from his fangs. He'd never felt so alive. Tonight was just a little snippet. "Good night, son," said the father. "That's it for tonight." "Could you leave the door open?" said Matt. "I'm a little bit scared." "Okay, it's open a bit. You're safe now." Matt relaxed. It had been a long day playing with his friends, and he was tired. It had been nice that his father had told him a story, even if it had been a really scary one, but it was just a story. He stretched and yawned and let one of his feet dangle over the side of the bed. As he lay there almost asleep, he realized his foot was not cool. It was warm. He could feel a hot breath on it, and he could hear a voice just like the one in the story, a low, raspy voice. "Something wicked this way comes," it said. The bedroom door slammed shut. The end. Do you like these characters? I have more. Stay tuned for more podcasts, either my own stories on Fridays or some of the classics on Tuesdays. If you subscribe to my newsletter, you'll get the next installment as soon as it's ready. If you enjoy this reading or have other stories you'd like to hear, leave me a comment. And do check out my other posts on my Substack at ravensview.substack.com. Ta-ta for now.